Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Oh my goodness gracious. President Trump had his rally. Oh my gosh, there were bombs and bombs. And I'm going to go over that today. I'm also going to go over some updated video clips, things I haven't shared in my other podcasts. Somebody is asking me, actually quite a few people are asking me saying, man, Santa, it's so good that you're on YouTube and you're on fire again. You could find all of my, I'm just giving you fair warning, guys. You can find all my social media links right here. And we have a very active YouTube channel. Doesn't have a lot of commercials. It really is awesome. But let me tell you why I'm this way. Yesterday, I was all grumps. You heard lightning in the background of my podcast. I wanted you to hear it because that's how I was feeling. I was all rah. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like President Trump. It's interesting because he mentioned something in his Fort Bragg rally that kind of resonated with us and many others. But I ended up doing the Sammy dance. I was like, okay, he just gave us big signs. This is all a wrap, and it was all one big trap. So I was doing the Sammy dance. Yeah, go Sammy. Sammy hasn't come out in a while. Go surfers. Okay, so if you're new to my show, Sammy was a mascot that we created back in 2020 when everything was all blah. Now here we are. Fast forward to 2025. President Trump dropped so many incredible bombs, good bombs, that you will just sleep like a little baby tonight. Sleep and you'll be doing the Sammy dance. And also, I have been taking brain energy. I don't know if that's helping me, but I have this surge of energy as well. So it's a natural supplement. It helps strengthen the healthy brain function. Well, I don't know if it's helping me there. Increases energy and also your memory. And it keeps me very focused, all right? Keeps me like, I'm just all of a sudden very, very focused on what I'm doing. But the energy, and then on top of that, I also I'm using the JUVENT platform, and so what it has is micro vibrations in the platform, and it just, all of a sudden, not that it cures, but it does relieve a lot of the pain I have in my knees and my shoulder and my hips, and I sleep really, really good, like a little baby. But with JUVENT, you can go ahead, and this was a product that was featured on a documentary called Biohack with Robert Kennedy, and it is something that does work from many, many testimonials and people that are using it and telling me about it. So go to JUVENT by going to the sponsor link below, or you can go to juvent.com/Santa, enter $300 off. You enter Santa to get $300 off. Okay, I think the brain energy is kind of overlapping. So back to the brain energy. We used to have them as a sponsor before. Long story short, it was kind of scary for me. So here are fast forward. I'm using it now, but it's really keeping me focused, and I'm loving it because it's actually getting me to do more podcasts. So thank you so much, Brain Energy and JUVENT. So we have two contests going on for this month. One is for all viewers that are watching on YouTube, and then one are for subscribers on X and on Locals. So we have a secret word day. So on the YouTube link in the description section, there is a form that says week 2. The first 5 people that fill out that form and complete it, and we will go ahead and send you a gift. The gift is a birthday card. I know it's running a little late, but a birthday card and a gold-plated commemorative note. So good luck to the first 5 people. The second contest we have is for our subscribers on X and Local. Somebody did ask me, like, can I just join your X? It's like only $1 a month for just the month. I'm like, yeah, so that he could enter the contest. So what it is collect all the secret words for every Monday, the 2nd, 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd, and then we will go ahead and spin for the winner on the 26th of this month. And what it is, it's a 1-week vacation, accommodations only at a really, really cool resort in Orlando, Florida. So get yourself comfy, get your popcorn or carrot sticks. I got a lot to cover. I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that's going on, but especially the comms for the Fort Bragg rally. It was so awesome. Remember Tom Homan? He said anyone that touches a law enforcement officer, ICE agent, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Remember the one in the red right here, Monica McIver? Well, she just set a precedent for all of those thug riders. She was pushing, touching, and yelling at them. She was, in their version, she was pushing them away and telling them, you can't talk to me. Do you know who I am? Do you know? Well, yeah, we know what you are now. She be indicted. 3 3 criminal counts. She is a sitting congressperson for the U.S. congressperson. And now, she went from, you know who I am, you can't touch me, while she's pushing ICE agents. Yeah, she's indicted. And guess what? You know that there's no more money for these loser Democrats in Congress. So they have to use their own personal funds. And because they're so broke, they may have to call a public defender. She's been indicted on 3 federal charges for forcibly impeding officers at New Jersey Immigration Center. So all the rioters that are going to go to court, and guess what? Guess what the prosecutors are going to cite? They're going to cite this case. They're going to say, well, this is a case that's still in process, but she got indicted because she was doing the same exact thing. She set the precedent. Oh my goodness, talk about a boomerang. Okay, then Sammy doing the Sammy dance again. He's super excited about that news. So Terry Moran, Moran, he's ABC News at the time that he posted this on June 8th. He said the thing about Stephen Miller, come on, Stephen Miller, you don't want to pick on him, is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is the one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of Trumpist movement and translate them into policy, but that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with a capacity for hatred. He is a world-class hater. You could see this just by looking at him, because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. God, this dude, Terry Moran. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only a means to an end, and that end his own glorification. That is his spiritual nourishment. Well, guess what happened to Terry Moran? Dude got fired yesterday. He got fired. Come on, that all happened in 2 days. You don't mess with Trump. What he was also doing, he was inciting anger and other things. No, it's not working with the Trump administration. Not anymore. It's a totally different ballgame. New sheriff in town, Terry. Go ahead. Good luck updating your resume. I'm sure Amazon or someplace is hiring. And I'll tell you, I should have called it the Dingledorf episode here. Okay, federal judge rejects Gavin Newsom's request for an immediate temporary restraining order. The Gavin Newsom's emergency ruling request for a temporary restraining order to stop the Trump administration from deploying military personnel to support the enforcement of immigration law in California. The judge says, I don't think so. And the House, now I know it has to go through the Senate, but the House, this includes 56 Democrats. They voted, it was a bill to prohibit non-citizens. They're not talking about illegals. They're talking about, let's say, those green card holders that didn't become citizens of the United States. They're permanent residents, but they're not citizens. They prohibit them from voting in D.C. elections, has officially passed in the House with 56 Democrats supporting this. Oh my gosh, the elections are going to be disastrous for the Democrats. It's going to be a big old red tsunami. Okay, well, that happened. I know, again, it has to go through the Senate, but in my humble opinion, if you got 56 Democrats that are House Democrats, they hate anything Republican, right? They loathe it. Why did they vote that? But it tells me, is there going to be that same kind of pull in the Senate to get this to pass, and then eventually starts to lead into the midterms, because the midterms is like really the elections, the campaign starts next year in a few months. So I think this is great, because this is the bye-bye Democrat Party bill. I'm going to get to this news on my next podcast, guys, because I really want to cover this with a little bit more detail. It's about the United States. They can impose tariffs. That's something the Federal Court of Appeals has announced, and also about the deal with China. And there's some other news, but I want to really get into what's going on with the riots and happenings of in LA, Chicago, New York. Oh, yeah. So the series of videos I have, I would not recommend it for children. It might be a little bit, there's like a middle part of it that it's a little bit not too harsh, but I just don't want you to feel uncomfortable. But this is what's going on. The rioters are getting their rubber bullets hit at them because, they deserve it. I find this interesting. I'm not going to play the clip, but I find this interesting that on this right here, this headline, it says DHS, murderer pedophiles arrested by ICE in Los Angeles. That's the news. That's the big news. It's these cartels that are running the human trafficking rings. They are the ones that the ICE has been targeting, and now it looks like they're very successful at that. Yeah, it's kind of like a payback for these people because of what they're doing, and President Trump covered a lot of this in his rally, but let me go ahead and play these clips for you.
Saque su teléfono. No, sí, estamos grabando ya. Transmiten en vivo. Hagan en vivo, Facebook, váyanse a Facebook, háganlo en vivo. Ya estamos aquí adentro ya.
The war dogs just arrived in Los Angeles. And just in case you don't know who that is, let me catch you up. They are the 27th, or the 2nd Battalion and the 7th Marines, also known as the legendary war dogs. And now their boots are on the ground in Los Angeles. These are not weekend warriors. These are not people that you find on Craigslist. These are battle-hardened, war-forged Marines, trained in the fires of Fallujah, Sangin, and Helmand. They have faced ISIS, Taliban, and insurgents with nothing but grit, God, and a rifle. They don't flinch. They don't blink. They don't negotiate. If you really think that rioting, looting, and tearing down cities is just a game, you're about to meet the real definition of law and order. These men eat chaos for breakfast, and they bring law and order with a steel jaw. The streets of LA are about to feel what it's like when warriors walk the streets with civilians. Not to oppress, but to restore the order that all of these rioters and looters have been causing. And this is the clear message that the military is going to send. If you're looking to cause trouble, you just invited a battalion full of it. The war dogs are here, and the barking is over. And order is going to be handled in a way that you never saw coming. Thank you, men, for your service. Consider hitting that follow button for your daily updates.
Oh, and the introduction to the Fort Bragg rally was phenomenal. This is posted by Dan Scavino. It was so awesome. I mean, he had spec ops, he had 82nd Airborne. Look what they were doing. Okay, they're showing also the world some of the things that the military is doing. I think this is also kind of in his own way trolling. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. And look at the crowd. The crowd at this rally, President Trump said that after he was elected, he would never be able, there would never be a rally that he can generate more than maybe 200 or 300 people. Look at this, thousands and thousands of people with the military behind him. And it was awesome. Their morale was high. What they heard was high. What we heard is wonderful. So I'm going to play the clip first, and then I'm just going to give you my little snippets of information. You decide, you decide, you decide. But it was big. Listen to this.
What a show it was, and what a show it continues to be. And Saturday is going to be a big day for our adversaries. There's no greater fear than the United States Army. They all fear us, and we have the greatest force anywhere on earth. You know, you read different stories that others are building and building and building. We have a force like no other. They said it would take 5 years to defeat ISIS. We did it in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. As President of the United States, let me express my undying gratitude to our nation for every soldier here today, for every veteran and their families, those incredible families that are with us and all across America, and for every patriot who has worn the uniform over 250 years. Can you imagine that? We thank you from the absolute bottom of our hearts. Few places loom larger in Army lore than where we are gathered today. I said, not even close, not even close. This is the home of the Green Berets, the Sky Dragons, and the all-American 82nd Airborne. We know what 82nd Airborne Division. We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change. And I'm superstitious, you know, I like to keep it going, right? But they came in with bricks they were taken away, and they had hammers. Oh, wow, how did that happen? And they're pounding the sidewalk. I said, what the hell is he doing? And he's breaking it up and making it into concrete bombs in a way, and they're dropping them on our military. They're throwing them at our military. Pretty good arms they had, too. Hits guys right in the face, big chunk of concrete, worse than a brick. They're taking them up to the bridges and they're dropping them in the cars that are going by. People that burn the American flag should go to jail for 1 year. That's what they should be doing. 1 year. These are animals. And attempting to infiltrate and occupy federal buildings wearing armor and face shields. The best money can buy, somebody's financing it. We're going to find out through Pam Bondi and Department of Justice who it is. They're already on it. Who's financing all this equipment? Very professional. He's financing it. We're going to find out through Pam Bondi and Department of Justice who it is. They're already on it. Who's financing all this equipment? Very professional. Under the Trump administration, this anarchy will not stand. We will not allow federal agents to be attacked, and we will not allow an American city to be invaded and conquered by a foreign enemy. And that's what they are. That's what they are. A lot of those people were let in here by the Biden administration. They just poured right in. They came from prisons. They came from jails from all over the world. They came from mental institutions. They were the leaders of gangs. They were drug lords allowed to come into our country. Their countries threw them out. Their countries would bus them or drive them right to our border and say, go in there. You ever come back, we're going to kill you. And we got them, and we're getting them out of here. And we gave it to them. Not only are these service members defending the honest citizens of California, they're also defending our republic itself. And they are heroes. They're in there, they're heroes. They're fighting for us. They're stopping an invasion just like you'd stop an invasion. The big difference is most of the time when you stop an invasion, they're wearing a uniform. In many ways, it's tougher when they're not wearing a uniform because you don't know exactly who they are. Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent. And they paid troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists. They're engaged in this willful attempt to nullify federal law and aid the occupation of the city by criminal invaders. That's what it is. They're invaders, no different. Their position is that the rioting will not stop unless ICE withdraws from Los Angeles and ceases the enforcement of federal immigration law. In other words, they came in here illegally. Many of them came out of prisons and jails, the most heinous people. They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from Asia. They came from the prisons of these places. They were put into the United States and allowed to stay here because we had a grossly president who listened to whoever was operating the autopan. True reason we're here today celebrating 250 years of unbreakable Army courage. This week we commemorate not just the starting point in Army history, but a turning point in the history of the world. That's how important it is. You will hold the flag high and you will do something that's become quite a famous little phrase also. But you're a hell of a lot braver than me. You will fight, and you will win. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our soldiers, and God bless the U.S. Army. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, why was it I mean, man, I'll tell you, it went with 180 switch. I went from to suddenly just doing the Sammy dance because he looked victorious. Now, let me go through some of the little comms and I'll give you some supporting data that goes with it. Yeah. That was pretty exciting. Okay, so what a show it was. On Saturday will be a big day. He is celebrating. Now, is he talking about this is a movie? We're watching a movie plot play out, right? So then he goes on and talks about for his adversaries, no greater fear than our army. Now he did say this. They said that we couldn't defeat ISIS in 5 years. They said 5 years to defeat ISIS, and we did it in 4 weeks. Then he emphasizes 4 weeks. Again, what will happen in 4 weeks? Puts us at a little bit after the 4th of July. Okay, now let me share something else with you. Don't want to get you a little upset, but I did want to go ahead and report this. Yesterday, OAN reported that the leader of Al-Qaeda calls for Trump, Vance, and top advisors' assassination. Also says in this article, Trump supporters. So he's going after the scum of the earth, blah, 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 and going after, these are the Trump, his vice president, JD, his advisors, and his supporters in terms of finance, administration, and technology. Is this what we're going to see next, right? Then President Trump talks about over 250 years, and then he goes on to talk about home of the Green Berets and 82nd Airborne. Q82 repost, things need to be solved to understand what is about to happen. Let's start with Alice and Wonderland. Hillary Clinton in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Saudi Arabia, the bloody Wonderland Q. So it looks like, because remember, President Trump was already in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, and he's got his friends there. And the bloody Wonderland, what were they cooking up? Is this going to start? Is he hinting towards is something about Clinton going to be coming out and other things? Then he talks about, I'm superstitious. Okay, I don't know about you, but are you superstitious? Are Anons that way? We're curious, right? It doesn't make us weird. We're just kind of, he says, I'm superstitious. And then he's talking about concrete bricks throwing over the bridges, and he is talking about hammers. Q3173, an Anon says, all of us have been antsy for the hammer to drop, but we will remember this time, the time before we knew the big scene. This is historic. And this is what Q replies with, the calm before the storm? Weren't we talking about that last week? What happens when a blockade threat is dismantled and removed? What's going on with the riots, right? You'll find out. Remember what Trump said in his back in 2017, that calm before the storm? You'll find out. Children used as shields, manufactured crimes of perjury. Fire at will, Commander Q. Okay. Is the hammer about to drop? Then President Trump goes on to say, these are animals. A couple of posts about animals. June 25th, Delta, which is coming up. Who is Jane Roe? Okay, what happens? Let's just go right here. Summer of Love redo. Okay, remember they're talking about that. What happens when you corner an animal? Midterms, D-power implosion. That vote yesterday that happened on the House floor is just the beginning. And then there was this about animals. Q161 is an Anon was posting this, somebody laughing and saying, how do you lure a dangerous animal into a trap? My freaking sides. Did I share with you a little bit about what happened with the alerts? The iPhones that got looted. Oh my gosh. The iPhones that got looted. Well, let me show you a clip. So yesterday there were videos coming up about the rioters looting iPhone stores. Check this out. Oh, this is such a trap here. So Brendan posted this, alarms blaring on multiple iPhones that were taken from Apple Store in downtown LA. Displays on the devices read, please return to Apple Tower Theater. The device has been disabled and is being tracked. Local authorities will be alerted. Check this out. I'm telling you, these were traps set everywhere. And then President Trump says people that burn the American flag should go to jail for 1 year. He's already talked about that being the public eye president again. He mentioned that at many of his rallies. And then he talked about anarchy will not stand. We will not allow federal agents to be attacked and American city to be attacked and conquered by foreign enemy. This is where he starts to hint the treason without saying the word treason. He knows that you're smart enough to figure this out. Criminal anarchy is the crime of conspiracy to overthrow the government by force or violence or by assassination of the executive head. What were they trying to do with President Trump? Twice last year, in the public eye. It's I'll leave it at that. Of the executive head or of any other executive officials of government or by unlawful means. At the federal level, criminal anarchy is criminalized, which makes it an offense punishable by 20 years imprisonment to advocate the overthrow of the U.S. government. These thugs out there that are doing their horrible things, he's making it very clear you are going to suffer. Those that are standing by them, that are trying to aid them, those public officials, are they committing treason? He's addressing their versions of treason by his statements because they are aiding illegal thugs, not just illegals, but thugs, criminal thug illegals, to go ahead and do what they're doing in order to to completely try to destroy President Trump from bringing our country back and keeping it safe again. So they're aiding and abetting to another country with bringing these illegals in. They're stopping an invasion And again, you're talking about, this is the law of war stuff, guys. This is section 11.3. This is chapter 11, section 3 of the law of war. It's tough when they're not wearing a uniform, for you don't know who they are. There's a Q post on that, and I'm just going to have just go ahead and do a search on plain clothes. Just plain clothes, one word, all right? And you can figure it out. I'm not going to say anything more to that. And then President Trump goes on to say, the governor of California and of LA, they paid agitators and insurrectionists. He is making it, and he made it again. He doesn't repeat it. He just said it once. He is making it very clear that he knows that part of it is California governor and the mayor is going to go. They are the ones that paid the agitators and insurrectionists. It's a willful attempt to nullify a federal law and aid occupation of the city. President Trump is referring to the law of war, and it would be chapter 11 under military occupations. If you want to go ahead and read it, the link is in the description section or in the article in the podcast. He called them criminal invaders. These are our enemies. He called them enemies early on, and then he calls them criminal invaders. So he's very much leading into insurrection, and he even called them insurrectionists. And that holds many 20 years in prison. But this is where it really started to just change. The starting point in our history is a turning point in the history of the world. That's what's big. I want to go back to the Saturday comment that he had mentioned. He didn't say June 14th. He said Saturday is going to be a very big day. When you pull up Saturday, there's 5 posts found, but this one I found very interesting. Okay, there's a little bit of that. And then it says, boom, a week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end. This is only the start. Isn't that what he says? Starting point of our history, right? And would this be the MAGA Promise weekend? Get the Popcorn Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. POTUS knows he must clean house the government in order to free up and demonstrate who has authority in order to pass important legislation. This was always the priority. Remember, AG Sessions cannot look like an impartial player that is out to get all former Obama team members, as we need him for other important work. All will come into focus, and for anyone to think POTUS is not in control is kidding themselves. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. And then he closes with his remarks, and then the army just erupts. It erupts when President Trump all of a sudden he just does this, and I love it. I think it's wonderful. And also what I love is how he's got these two doing the shimmy shimmy dance. I forgot to mention this also. President Trump did close his speech with the invasion was 99.9999% stopped. Oh, we're just getting so ready for whatever galactic or beautiful world that's on its way. Elon Musk did say that he regrets some of the posts he did last week, and it looks like they're extending olive branches to each other, so that's wonderful. But in order to get to this beautiful, beautiful world, we have to go ahead and let these people fall into their traps. If you're in these major cities, please be safe. Try to stay away from those all the nastiness that's going on, because I think it's going to get very oogly in the next few days. Speaking about the next few days, I will not have a podcast tomorrow, but I will have one on Friday and on Saturday as well. So I wish you all just a beautiful evening, a beautiful evening whenever you're listening to this. And remember, God has got this, and God has got you. Somebody made these memes for me, and I want to thank them, but I think it's wonderful because we're just going to be in this beautiful, glorious world. It is going to be biblical. Let these criminal thugs go out and do what they need to do, and let President Trump and the military do what they need to do. And all we do is have their backs. Let's post some really positive, wonderful things between now and Saturday, just to make sure that when they're looking on social media, they're going to see a thank you, military, thank you, NG, thank you, ICE, thank you, law enforcement officers, thank you, all of the law enforcement puppies that have our backs, because we have yours. God bless you abundantly. Again, big, big, big surfer hugs, and I will see you. I'll have another show on Friday. Aloha.